to say that a vehicle like this is exceedingly rare in our collection is a massive understatement, because of course we do have our fair share of Range Rovers. That's safe to say, a little bit of an in-joke in fact if you're familiar with our collection, but having a full-size Range Rover Autobiography with, and here is the key thing, this particular choice of 3-litre TDV6 engine is very rare, and it's understandable why it would be rare, because people who own one of these, well, they're going to keep it, because on the one hand you have everything which made the Range Rover iconic in terms of road presence, luxury, comfort level, kit, of course much of which we'll get into right here in the video, but in particular with that engine, even better fuel economy, even better efficiency, and even for a car like this, which has no business being affordable when it comes to road tax these days, even on said road tax, it is so much better than you would think it could be. In fact, let's touch on that efficiency first, because on the one hand you still have 440 foot-pounds of pulling power, so it goes without saying that if you were to use this as a towing vehicle, perhaps a holiday car, it takes that in its proverbial stride. On the other hand though, you can average up to 40 miles per gallon, as high as 44 on the motorway. Again, this is a full-size Range Rover we're talking about, with the economy of a small hatchback or a saloon, and even that road tax is £345 a year in comparison to some older Range Rovers, certainly if you're talking this kind of power. Well, many of those are nearly £800 a year in comparison. On the other hand though, it's not as if you're paying a ridiculous price premium to offset that advantage on tax, because even for this vehicle, a vehicle which has covered nearly 6,500 less miles than the average for one of these on the market at just 79,000, and anyone who knows their big powerful diesel engines knows that is nothing for a car like this in terms of longevity, it is still under £22,000 for, and again any who are familiar with Range Rovers will know, a much more expensive car than that, that's for sure when new, the best part of £70,000 in the case of a car like this, if not more depending on extras, and being as this one is a 2015 facelift Autobiography, these cars have aged so well. They look absolutely stunning inside and out, and of course they feel every bit as luxurious as you would want and expect a car like this to be. And just before we leave the topic of its price, it does of course still have the option of low deposit financing if you did want to spread out that cost. Now this particular car is, as you can tell, finished in metallic Santorini black with that heated and cooled ebony and ivory interior, in particular ebony seats, ivory dash, and the lovely touch of high gloss walnut with that heated walnut steering wheel as well. Again, it's a stunning looking car, we cannot say that enough. More importantly though than its visuals is of course its history. You want to know that a car like this has been taken care of, and that it certainly has. A full main agent and Range Rover specialist service history behind it. In fact, most recently serviced in July of this year, less than 3,000 miles ago. It's already had its cam belt changed and water pump as well. Of course it still has its original owner's book pack and 2 keys intact, and the sheer amount of kit and optional extras on these cars is far too expansive to get into it in a single video. However, to get into some of the highlights, it has that full-size spare wheel, actually something of a rarity to find that these days, adaptive headlights, panoramic roof, multiple 12-volt power points, a 17-speaker Meridian sound system, dual-view touchscreen display with of course Bluetooth and auxiliary inputs, voice-controlled premium navigation system, in-control Wi-Fi, USB connectivity as well, wireless headphones, adaptive cruise control, a 5-camera surround sound system with of course parking assist, xenon headlights with LED day runners and LED lights on the rear, 4-zone climate control for each primary passenger, electronic air ride suspension, and there's a key point as to why they're so comfortable of course, and if you do plan to use this as a top tier school run family car, it even has ISOFIX anchor points if you do want to fit child seats as well. And of course one of the key visual trademarks of a Range Rover, that power split tailgate. There's a reason why we love this generation of facelift Range Rover so much, and when you can find one like this with that combination of absolutely stunning visuals, superb high level of kit, it's a Range Rover so of course the level of kit is high by definition, crucially with that efficient engine as well, well it really does allow you to experience all of the pleasure of having a luxury 4x4, but you can legitimately use it as often as you want to because of how much more efficient these are than you would ever think they could be. If you told your neighbours you'd spent £50,000 on this car, they would absolutely believe you because it still has that kind of condition, that kind of kit, and absolutely that kind of presence. If then you would like to get in touch about this particular particular Autobiography Range Rover, of course, you could send us over an email via the address shown here on screen, or give us a call on 01749 871155 or via our mobile number of 07482 267 439.